Good morning. I'm Ashley Scott, your host of Mocha Money Monday. And today I am here with Miss Octavia Conner of Say Yes to Profits. Now, this visionary entrepreneur is not just a tax person, right? She is a strategist, okay? And she is also an author of two books. So we got somebody getting ready to drop a lot of knowledge today, something that's going to help you to really scale, because that's what we're all about, right? And so when you're thinking about scaling your business, when you're thinking about becoming a bankable CEO, there are mistakes that anybody can make, right? We are all infallible human beings. So Miss Octavia Conner is going to get into some money mistakes today and how you can eliminate those mistakes. So I'm excited to get into this chat. Welcome to Mocha Money Monday, Miss Octavia.
Good morning, Ashley. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. First of all, I want you to tell the people just a little bit more about you and how you started your journey as an entrepreneur and how you found your niche, right? How did you find the space as Say Yes to Profits and a tax strategist and a financial empowerment guru? How did you get into this place that you're
Well, okay. Wow. I started about 12 years ago. And when I first started into entrepreneurship, I actually came from corporate America. I had worked with several billion-dollar companies. During my corporate career, I was deemed as the go-to numbers girl. And so I honestly got to the point where I didn't want to be in the corporate space anymore. It was the same thing every day. It wasn't really a lot of creativity that you could do in corporate America. You have the higher ups and higher ups. And by the time it gets to the, real person in charge, when you created an idea, it's no longer yours or, things just change or whatever. And so I got to the point where I really didn't want to be there anymore. I started to pray and seek guidance on what was next for me. And I actually started working with my sister part-time to help her with her bookkeeping. Her company was expanding and she needed help. And I always say that's when I was bit by the entrepreneur bug because it allowed me to be able to really show creativity. And working with her, I was able to develop different strategies and systems and solutions, and she would implement them, and her company would grow and her cash flow would increase. And before I even knew a profit, really, she would have profit. And I started to go to different events and sign other clients. And yeah, that was like the opening of everything. But I honestly fell flat on my face when I actually jumped out there full time. So I went from that corporate cushy job, making close to six figures, to starting my entrepreneur journey. And at the time, my company was called Smart Accounting Services, and all we did was bookkeeping, taxes, accounting, things like that. And like I said, within 12 months of leaving corporate, I was broke. I always call that chapter broke, busted, and totally disgusted. I had a negative $152 in my bank account. That was the account that I would look at. I had just built my house from the ground up, custom built. We were 1 month away from foreclosure. I was hiding my truck in the garage. It was just bad. I had a lot of sleepless nights. I just couldn't understand basically why I was failing because I had prayed about it and I knew it was for me and I couldn't understand it. But anyway, so I had to go back to corporate America part-time and rebuild my business. And what I realized is that I was missing the strategy. I was missing the financial systems. I was missing the key pillars that every business needs to go to the next level. And so I started to develop them. When I started to develop them, 14 months after going back to corporate America, I came back out as a multi six-figure business owner, and we've doubled and tripled from there. And so I rebranded the company to Say Yes to Profits because I wanted to offer these same strategies to others because I realized if I needed them and I had all these years of experience as an accountant, as a CFO, others need them as well because most don't have that accounting and CFO background and they need those too. And so that's how Say Yes to Profits was birthed. And as of today, we are basically implementing those same strategies 12 years later with a 95% success rate.
Thank you for sharing that. So you got some sauce, you know what you're doing. Okay. Now, what I like to talk about are these money mistakes, right? Now, I can imagine no matter what industry you're in, strategy is everything, right? There's going to be different tax credits you might be able to be eligible for. Some are the same across the board, but I know that there are things that people, you're going to see the same kind of case over and over again, I'm sure, in your line of work. And so you are able to point those things out and give us some opportunity to stop bumping our head against the wall, right? So let's talk about your first couple of money mistakes that business owners may be making.
I would have to say the very first money mistake is not understanding your financial reports and not having an accounting system in place. Many entrepreneurs, when they very first start, and even seasoned entrepreneurs, they're all about bringing the revenue in and making sure they have enough money, but yet they don't have the financial foundation in place. So oftentimes they'll earn the money, but it will leave their company faster than it came in, or they'll not have enough money to grow their business, to receive a consistent CEO salary, to hire a team, to invest in different things, right? And that starts with the foundation, the financial foundation. And so the first mistake again would be understanding the difference between your income statement or profit and loss statement, your balance sheet, and your statement of cash flow, and then creating an accounting system that is accurate, reliable, and up to date consistently so that you're able to use that information to take your business to the next level. So that would be the first mistake.
Okay, so I want to ask, I'm gonna always go a little deeper because I want to get these little gems for our audience, right? So, what are some of the systems that you would recommend, right? If I'm a baby business and I'm like, okay, I want to get my financials right from the start, do I use QuickBooks, HoneyBook? What are some of the tools that I should be thinking about investing in so that I can make sure that I'm being consistent with being able to create these reports and understand them?
That's such a great question. So, I have probably a different answer than most in the industry. We all know, as of to date, that QuickBooks is the number one accounting software. But all of these accounting softwares market as user friendly.
Mhm.
However, there are back end things, behind the scene things that they don't let you know that you should know. And so you will start any of these accounting softwares, and then your finances are still incorrect because you don't have the knowledge to put the information in there correctly. And you're not
Mm.
using it correctly. So I always say garbage in equals garbage out. So when you're putting things in there incorrect, it's going to produce financials that are not correct. So, what I would highly recommend is one of two ways. Either one, make sure you get the training that you need in order to operate any of these accounting softwares correctly, right? Or number two, you hire someone that is an expert with that particular accounting software, that is an expert with managing your finances, and let them do it for you, but then they need to provide you with the financial information and help you understand and read your financial report. So I would recommend doing one of those things.
Okay, solid, solid. What's our number two money making mistake?
Okay. So the second making mistake would not be creating a profit plan, right? I love to talk about profit plans, and I am not referring to a business plan that's, 10 pages long and is really honestly not worth the paper that it is on. When I say profit plan, I'm referring to a plan that identifies the where, when, what, and how to making money, right? For your business. So what are you going to offer, like your profitable business model? What are you going to price it for? Who are you going to target? Making sure that you have a business model where you don't feel like you have to work to the bone to earn your first or next six figures or $1 million. And then when the money comes in, what are you going to do with it? Like, you need to tell your money what to do, because if you don't, you'll make decisions that could be detrimental to your business. So the second money mistake is not creating a profit plan, one that will allow you to consistently say yes to profits in business.
Now, I love this. I hear a lot of people. So, for instance, if you're someone who is an online entrepreneur, you make courses, you're part of the intellectual economy where you're maybe doing ebooks or you're maybe doing speaking engagements and you are a coach. And would you want to put all of those different line items in your profit plan so that you're able to see where you're going to be able to make those revenues consistently and where there's opportunities for growth?
Yes, absolutely. So a part of your profit plan is setting up what I like to call a profitable business model. A component of that business model is identifying all of your services and all of your products that you will offer and at what price point. And then, as I mentioned before, you want to make sure that they're priced for profit. So, with every sale, you generate a profit. Yes, you want to list those because then you can back into your goal. So, let's say your goal is $1 million, right? In a year, that's $83,333 a month. How many courses do you need to sell to achieve that? How many VIP days do you need to offer? How many services do you need to sell? So when you back into that number, it takes that large goal and breaks it down into its smallest, most achievable parts. And then it shows you where you can focus. And believe it or not, it makes building your business easier because a lot of people think they need 1,000,001 services and products to cross the $1 million mark, when in actuality, you really don't. You need a signature one, you need some supporting products and services around it, and you need to make sure it's priced for profit. So, yes,
Mm-hmm.
you want to list every way that you plan to earn money in your company. Because another thing, you'll be able to see if you're wasting your time on certain things where if you don't have an accounting system and a plan, you may not realize that this is actually not helping me. This is actually taking up unnecessary time. And I really need to spend my energy over here on this service or this product.
This is so good. So now I want us to move into the third money making mistake today, because what I realize is we don't always have plans and we don't always have our proper foundation. And this is across the gamut. I mean, I've been in real estate. That's my actual kind of business that I make money from on a day-to-day basis. And I have several other businesses. But when I think about my core real estate business, I know I don't have no profit plan. And so we got to be honest with ourselves about where we are on our journey, right? Because that's a big part of just being an entrepreneur, is being able to be transparent and say, these are areas where I can grow. And a coach is where you, because you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know that I should be thinking about all of these. Like, I do VIP days, I got coaching packages, but I haven't laid it out in a strategic way. And that strategy, like you said, it changed you and your business from where you were when you started to where you are now. Strategy is everything.
Yes, 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 yes. Strategy is key, right? And so the third mistake is not having a tax strategy in place. I always tell business owners, you're going to, if you keep going, you keep doing the right thing, you're absolutely going to get to the point where you have more money than maybe you thought you could have, right? Now, what do you do with that money? Oftentimes, business owners will not think about their taxes until tax season. And then they'll receive this large tax bill. When, if they would have completed some type of tax strategy or tax planning in advance, right? When it came time to tax season, they could have legally and ethically paid zero in taxes, or as I like to say, legally and ethically beat the IRS tax game. There are companies earning billions with a B, billions of dollars, and yet somehow, some way, they're paying little to nothing in taxes. But then you have the average small business owner that is paying on average 11,000 to 15,000 in taxes. There is one tax strategy right now that a business owner can implement that will cover $11,000 to $15,000. But what happens is that most business owners only think about taxes when it's time to file the taxes, but that is too late. When you're thinking about it during the tax deadline, you have missed so many deductions that could have helped you. Like on average, our clients will save around 55% in taxes. We literally had a young lady that came to us the previous year. Her tax bill was $39,000. She signed up for our CFO service. This tax year, her tax bill was a refund of $13,000. So she went from 39,000 to 39,000 owing the IRS. Let me be clear, to 13,000 receiving a refund legally and ethically. But that is because after getting that huge tax bill, she implemented tax strategy. And she used these plans and these strategies throughout the year, and they helped her tremendously. So that would be a huge mistake. Don't make the money and then give it to the IRS. I always tell my clients, you're gonna have to cut a check either way. And so either you're gonna take that money and strategically invest it in you and your business, or you're gonna take that money and you're gonna be happy in one moment and then you want to cry in the next moment because you got to cut a check to the IRS. You make the decision on which one you want to do.
These have been some really great tips, Miss Octavia. And what I want to ask more about taxes is just, is this something that I should go alone? Because, like, how do you don't think these things through, so you have to have somebody like you, I'm assuming. And so I have a follow-up question to that, as to how do I know if I'm dealing with somebody who really is a tax strategist? Like, you got a
That's a
lot of people out here preparing taxes.
good
But how do I know that I'm getting someone who is knowledgeable enough to make sure that I'm going to get the most bang for my buck and not be owing the IRS at the end of the year?
That is such a great question. I would definitely tell you to look at their track record. Are you able to see results, right? And when I say see results, can you speak with one of their clients, right? Can they show you proof? Like for us, I love video testimony. I literally have like 5 video testimonies we're going to send out on our social media over the next couple of weeks of clients saying that we help them, increase their profits. We help them save X amount in taxes. So I would definitely say before you go to Pookie down the street and
Right.
they promise you, right, the moon, the sun, and the stars, and then you have a tax bill and they're like, oh, well, I don't know. Ask for proof that they have helped others and see if they know the tax code. Like you can literally go to the IRS website, pull something out, and then go to your tax person and ask them a question. If they can't answer it, depending on what it is, they may not really be a tax strategist. They may be a tax preparer. Now, there is nothing wrong with being a tax preparer, right? There's nothing wrong with that. One of the things I did when I first started, I was a tax preparer. But then I realized that I don't want to give my money to the IRS, and I started to learn the strategy. So there's nothing wrong with a tax preparer, but at some point as your business grow, you need a tax strategist with a proven success record. So they can't show you previous clients or, video or written testimony, and you literally go look these clients up and they're real people, right? If they can't show you all that, you may need to think twice before moving forward with them.
This is so good. Now, before we get out of here, I always like to ask, like, what is that one piece of burning advice that you would want to give to our audience? These are women who are transitioning. They are going from maybe corporate America, that W-2 income, to deciding to be a full-time entrepreneur or to get their feet wet. What would you want them to know about being an entrepreneur and building a business that's going to be bankable, something that's going to for them to be able to say yes to them profits? What would you tell them?
And I would tell them to believe in themselves, right? Business is challenging, but it is absolutely, in my opinion, well worth it. And so there are going to be times where things are going to be amazing, and there are going to be times where you're going to question your sanity. But if you absolutely believe in yourself, good, bad, and indifferent, if you feel like this is what you're called to do, figure it out and work it out. Don't give up on yourself if this is your dream. I had to tell myself that. Also, before you quit or anything, start thinking like the person you want to be. Like before I was ever this successful, $1 million business owner, whatever you want to call it, I used to ask myself, how would the $1 million Octavia show up? Right? How would she show up on stage? How would she show up in this sales call? How would she show up at this meeting? How would she run her business? Like, how would the $1 million Octavia operate? And I started to operate like I thought she would operate long before I ever made anything. And it goes back to your mindset. And so mindset is key. Mindset is everything. And just believe in yourself. Just don't give up no matter what. If it's for you, make it happen for you. Yeah.
This is so good. Now I'm going to ask this question. Do you have a coach? I know that a lot when people talk like you talk, I'm like, she's getting coaching as well. You don't get to the $1 million Octavia without making certain investments.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. Absolutely. My very first coach, the price point that she was saying her services were worth scared the crap out of me. But I knew I needed and wanted to go to the next level. And I knew that there was somebody out there that was 2 to 10 steps ahead of me. And at the time, I felt like it was her. And so I invested in her coaching program for 3 years. And it helped tremendously, tremendously. So I highly recommend getting a coach, a mentor. I am an avid book reader. Like literally, I'm looking at the books on my table right now. I'm an avid book reader. And I always tell like my team, I dissect the book. So I don't just read it, put it down. I'm taking notes. I'm trying to figure out how to implement it in my business, my life, right? I want to really take this strategy and make it work for me. And so coaching, reading books, absolutely. I do it all because you don't know everything. And there's somebody out there that knows more than you that would be willing to help you. And then sometimes you just need to pick up a book, like pick up a book and read it based on what you're struggling with, implement what you read, and you could be at the next level in the next month or two.
This is so true. Thank you so much, Octavia. How do people get in touch with you? Are you a part of our Phenomenal Hughes network, Miss Octavia?
I absolutely am. Shout out to the phenomenal, the Netta. Hello. Yes, I am. And people can actually find me on social media at Octavia Conner CFO or Say Yes to Profits. And then I also have a free gift for your listeners. They can go to sayyes-to-profits.com/Mocha Money and find that free gift. It's a profit tool. They can download it and it'll help them get their money in order and say yes to profits.
Yes. Well, we love saying yes to profits. We are building bankable CEOs here. And so we're just thankful that you would join us today, Octavia. Octavia, you have dropped so many gems, and those 3 money mistakes, we're going to make sure that we're not going to make them. We're going to take what we've heard, we're going to implement it, we're going to get that free gift to really be able to get to a place where we have a firm financial foundation. We have to know our numbers. We have to understand those documents. We need to have those professionals. And one thing that I love about the Phenomenal Hughes Global Network is that we have those professionals. We're bringing access to phenomenal coaches, phenomenal teachers, phenomenal service providers that can make sure that you're doing all the right things to get to the $1 million, because we out here trying to make 1 million in these streets, and then we're gonna make 1 billion because that's where we going. All right. So Miss Donetta said, can you please repeat the 3 money making mistakes, Miss Octavia?
Yes. So money making mistake number 1 is not having an accurate, reliable accounting system in place, not understanding your financial reports and the difference between them, and then not having a profit plan and not having a tax strategy. Those are the 3 mistakes.
So we're going to get our profit plans. We're going to get our tax strategies in place. We can get all that right here at the Phenomenal Hughes Global Network. You can connect with Miss Octavia Conner because she got you. Okay. And then we want to see you next week, Mocha Money Monday. Again, I'm Ashley Scott, your host. Let's see you next week. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one. Peace, everybody.